along. Today I am in conversation with Dave Burton from QBH Solutions. Dave, how's it going?
Yeah, really good, thanks, Liù.
Good.
Busy week so far, lots going on, but yeah, good, can't complain.
Good stuff. Okay, do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about QBH Solutions and what you do?
I'd love to. QBH Solutions provides HR and compliance support to small, medium-sized businesses across the southeast and London. Things like job descriptions, contracts, key HR policies and processes, and all the various key ISOs, quality, environment, health and safety, information security, and dreaded GDPR. I say dreaded because we've been talking about it pretty much non-stop in the office for the last, what feels like forever, but the last couple of weeks.
Okay, and we're probably going to come on to a bit more of some of those bits that you touched on and some of the industry stuff, aren't we, in later episodes. But for today, we wanted to start in a positive, and we were going to talk about goals, weren't we? And specifically, I guess this balance, as a small business owner, this balance between business goals and personal goals and kind of where we can learn from the two and maybe transfer one to the other to help us be more successful in all areas of our life, right? Because it's one thing to fulfill your business goals, but if it doesn't make you feel good as an individual, as a business owner, and also your team, then ultimately kind of what's the point? So do you want to start us off? Tell us a little bit about how do you tackle your personal goals, would you say? What's your...
Okay.
You do a lot of fitness, don't you? So
can you not tell? Yes, yeah. Well, I've run a couple of marathons, not particularly quickly, but I'm still finished them. Got the medal.
More than most, more than me, anyway.
Yeah. Personal goals are quite different for me than business goals. Personal goals tend to start off with what would I like to do. I tend to try and avoid the New Year's resolution thing. So it gets to sort of February, March time, and it's like, what do I fancy doing? What would I like to try and achieve? And that's where some of the crazier things that I've done come from. I think it helps to have an interest in whatever you're trying to do. Yeah. But just sitting back sometimes and go, what would I like? What feeling would I like to get? Okay. How would I like to feel, and what can help me create? Yeah.
And is that how you decide then? Is it a kind of that would be fun, or is it, that the end goal would feel good or the process would feel good?
It's a bit of both. Marathon running, the two marathons. The running that I do, yeah.
2-0.
Is it all of them? All of the marathons I've run started from really a desire to lose a bit of weight. It came from a point of view where I was a little bit overweight. Went to the gym, started running on a treadmill. I read an article in a magazine, as you do when you get into something, that said actually running really, really does help the fat burn and drop off. So I started running outside, and then I was somewhere and I saw London Marathon. I saw the guys and girls running the London Marathon. I thought, I'd like to do that one day, and then didn't. My wife, the current Mrs. Burton, laughed at me, as did her mother, and then, to be fair, I was still quite big, but that then happened, and that's kind of the way it goes. If you want something enough, it will happen. Yeah, you've got to make it happen. You've got to train, but it's having lots of different motivate, not just one. I want to run a marathon. I want to do a triathlon on the channel, whatever it is. It's what sort of sits behind that, is, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to lose a bit of weight, I'm going to look pretty good, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Depending on what motivates you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so having multiple motivators, multiple strings to your goal, as it were, maybe.
Yeah,
okay. So. And how does that differ from a business goal? I guess for you personally, and maybe what you see others doing.
Yeah, I don't think there's any right or wrong way. I'm not here to say what's right or wrong, but business goals for me have been easier to achieve, touch wood, because they're a lot more systematic. Yeah. I need to turn over this amount of money to be able to pay these bills. I need to do this to be able to achieve that. I want to get people working for me. I want to do this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then you write them down because they form a business plan and a finance plan, a cash flow forecast, and all this exciting stuff that we do. And then, from that you've got different spreadsheets and tools to software, QuickBooks, Xero, those kind of things that help you keep track on how you're doing. So your business goals, I think, are not easier to achieve, but maybe easier to benchmark of how you're performing.
Yeah.
Which is a key part in achieving any goal. Is
Yeah.
how am I meeting it? Am I there?
Yeah.
Whereas your personal goal, well, for me, my personal goals are a little bit more relaxed.
Okay.
I know what I want to do, and sometimes I do write them down. And it's always good to write them down. And I think Tony Robbins says, never leave the scene of a goal-setting idea without doing something positive to achieve it. But with the business goals, you've got to be. For me, again, I'm not telling you it's okay. Be clear on what you want to do. You've got to write it down, and there are that systemization, if you like, of trying to meet it. And stay on top of it.
And how do you think? Because you said that, like, with the personal goals, it's what do I want to get out of it? As in, what motivates me to do it and achieve the goals? Versus a business goal is kind of more outside of yourself. But I guess kind of my point, I guess how I'd assume is that, as you get a bigger business, it's less about the individual and more about the business as its own entity. But how does that differ kind of, when you're kind of at the earlier stage of a business where you're an SME as opposed to a big corporation? Should we have, I guess it can go both ways, should our personal goals have more systematization in them? And there are tools, you can have MyFitnessPal and fitness trackers and all this kind of stuff versus, and then on the flip side, should our business goals be more aligned with different motivators? Okay, yes, I want to build my team, but why do I want to build my team? Okay, because I like being around people, or I want to give other people opportunities. I don't know. It's interesting that you describe them in slightly different ways.
Should they transcend? Should your business goals, the techniques that you use to achieve your business goals, transcend into personal and vice versa?
Yeah.
So actually, I want to grow the business because I want to employ people because I like being with people.
Yeah.
For example, not all the time, Angie. I'm only joking. A little bit. And then, for example, some of my other personal goals develop characters a little bit. There's things that you like or don't like about personality. Maybe you get a bit stressed about things, or certainly I know I do, or used to, so you want to try and change that a little bit. And then again, with any personal goal, how do you approach it? So by defining it and monitoring it, I'm kind of losing the point of what I'm trying to say, but you bring those strategies, the systemization, it might help. That's a good point.
And do you think, is it maybe that we subconsciously do it? Okay, I want to build it. Using that example, I want to build a team because I like being around people. I like bringing other people on and giving them opportunities. But is it that it's not common? I think we all have okay, I'll speak from a personal example. Like, I like to look at those sorts of things. So I guess I would be aware maybe, or make a point of being aware of why am I doing it. But in business, there kind of feels like this thing that you don't talk about the personal side. Like, you de-emphasize the personal side because it's not about you, it's about the customer, which I agree with. But at the same time, your personal motivation can be a big driver in what you want to do, and also to motivate your team.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're lucky that if keeping the customer happy is a personal goal, then you've ticked both boxes and it's a win-win.
Yeah, definitely. And that's definitely a driver, right? Like,
absolutely.
I just want people to be happy and get value, and to make them feel confident, to make them feel relaxed, whatever it may be. And suddenly making it personal makes it hugely valuable to the customer.
I think that's an appraisal system, isn't it? To look at it from an HR point of view, if your targets for your team are linked to their own motivators, and then they link back to outstanding customer service, fantastic value for money, entrepreneurial thinking, whatever it might be, then you've aligned things really, really nicely. And I think sometimes you can be guilty of, as you say, de-emphasising the personal within business. Not all the time, not everybody, and some people are fantastic at it. And can turn it on, turn it off, bring it, to do what they want to do with it. But it's hard, because to create a business, to create an organisation that grows and works, you've got to kind of separate your own personal needs, and the business sometimes takes over. It shouldn't do, but it does. When you want to be spending time with your family or whatever, with your mates playing football or in the pub or whatever, you've got to make that commitment to the business.
Yeah.
But equally, that there's something outside of that, further down the road, that will give you that time to play football or go canoeing or spend time in the pub or spend time with your family. Sorry, that should have been first. Sorry, that's right out there. But I think it's difficult to know sometimes what the right thing to do is. So you've just got to go with what feels right.
Yeah.
But if you've got goals set in your mind as to what you want to do, then you can't really go too far wrong.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. It's having an idea of what you want to achieve, right? I guess underpins it all, whether it's motivated by personal motivation or kind of external growth. But even that external growth for the business to grow or to take on a team, it still comes from us first, doesn't it?
It's linked to, it's integral to what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And you do some fantastic stuff, plug for Liù, on marketing. And it's what motivates you, why, what's your why. And we've done a couple of sessions which I found really, really, sorry, I moved away from the mic, really, really invaluable. And if you know what motivates you and why it motivates you, and we've just had a really interesting subject about whether that's right or wrong in terms of, how far that goes. But if you know what motivates you, why it motivates you, you're more likely to achieve what you set out to achieve.
Yeah.
Not always. And I think as well, the key is not to beat yourself up too much, but maybe learn from what you haven't done it.
Yeah.
If you can, if there's that opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Nice stuff. So, what do we think? What are our takeaway points from today?
Gosh. Don't ever run a marathon. No. What are our takeaway points? I think systemisation. What I mean systemisation, what do I mean? Write things down and monitor performance against it. So know what you want to do. Know where, start. I don't know. I want to do a triathlon, so I need to be able to swim whatever distance it is and run and achieve these things and just work back from that.
Yeah, make it bite-sized.
Yeah, bite-sized.
Yeah, I guess that's what we can learn from our business goal, but for our business, but also for our personal goal, something we can take and transfer to that. Yeah. But then on the flip side, it's kind of just being aware maybe, and it's not to say what business can take from personal goals is be aware of your motivations. And it doesn't necessarily have to cloud your judgment, but just being aware of it might give you that, when you're struggling and you're going, and then you look at yourself and go, no, I'm doing this because I want to be sustainable, provide for my family or my community or give back to customers, as you said, provide value for them. The flip side.
Yeah, definitely. Just knowing what that is, it can be really, really helpful. What you want to try and avoid again, or not trying to tell people things they don't already know, but if there is conflict there, so if you're trying to achieve a goal that then is almost at a cross point with your fundamental belief system, your value system, then that can cause conflict, stress, anxiety, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I think you have perfectly hit on. No. I think you've perfectly hit on it. That's the crossover between the business and our personal, right? Is you have your systematization, but if you find yourself not doing it or getting stressed, there's probably a conflict with some kind of personal goal. And not to say let your personal beliefs kind of don't make clouded emotional decisions, but just to be aware of, okay, where's that conflict, and just to shed light on it, to then allow you to come out the other side and make a informed decision rather than one clouded in emotions. Hidden motivations maybe that we can't get away from, no matter how much we try to systematize and be professional.
Kind of embrace those and know what works, what doesn't work.
Because it keeps us connected to being human, right? At the end of the day, businesses are only systematized to make them work and provide value to real people and to real teams. So if we can have them, there's got to be an element, surely, unless you're running robots. Unless you're a robot and managing robots.
Yeah.
But
interestingly, I watched The Matrix last night. But yes, AI and all that. But businesses are only good as the people. And that applies to everybody, not just the management team or whatever. It's that. I mean, did an exercise with yourself, which was looking at the values that are important to me. They're important to the business, and then am I working with clients or partners, and are their values aligned to my values? Because life becomes a lot easier when they are.
Yeah, definitely.
If they're not, then you either charge more or you walk away.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
Oh, wow, yes.
We have.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Good. So have we got anything, parting words to leave on? Anything else left to say?
Gosh, lots, but probably nothing succinct and bite-sized.
Sounds good then. Sounds good. We'll leave it here. There's plenty more time for discussion. We'll be back next month for another In Conversation with Dave Burton from QBH Solutions. Final plug, what's the website if people want to check you out?
qbhsolutions.co.uk, and we've got Facebook and Twitter. Have a look at all of those. We've got some great, really exciting blogs that I'm sure you'll really want to read.
Definitely. Okay, good stuff. See you later, guys.
Take care.
Bye.